Once upon a time, in the great beyond, Abraham Lincoln and John Wilkes Booth found themselves at a grand theater in heaven. The two former adversaries, who had met in mortal life at Ford's Theater, where Booth assassinated Lincoln in 1865, were both surprised to see each other once again. As they took their seats, they noticed that the stage was empty and wondered what the show would entail. Suddenly, the curtains parted and a bright light shone upon them. A voice boomed from above, "Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special performance for you today. A reenactment of the events that took place at Ford's Theater, as seen through the eyes of the two protagonists." Lincoln and Booth both looked at each other, unsure of what to expect. But as the play began, they were transported back to that fateful night in 1865. They watched as the events unfolded, with Booth sneaking into the presidential box and shooting Lincoln. The scene ended with Lincoln taking his final breaths and Booth fleeing the theater. The curtains closed and the light faded. Lincoln and Booth were brought back to the present, still seated in the theater in heaven. They were both overcome with emotion, reflecting on the weight of the events that had transpired. Booth approached Lincoln. "Mr. President, I am deeply sorry for what I have done. I was blinded by my beliefs and let my anger get the best of me. I know I cannot undo what I have done, but I want you to know that I am truly remorseful." Lincoln looked at Booth with understanding and compassion. "John, I have long since forgiven you. In this place, we are all given the opportunity to learn and grow from our past mistakes. Let us use this time to move forward and find peace." And with those words, the two former enemies shook hands, symbolizing their newfound friendship. The audience erupted into applause, and the two took a bow together, to the standing ovation of the crowd. From that day forward, Lincoln and Booth were often seen together, visiting different parts of heaven and spreading a message of love and forgiveness. They remained the best of friends, always reminding each other of the power of redemption and the importance of moving forward with grace and understanding. As they continued their journey through heaven, they were often approached by those who were still grappling with their own earthly mistakes and sought their guidance. Lincoln and Booth, now the greatest of friends, would listen to their stories and offer words of comfort and encouragement. One day, they came upon a group of individuals who were still filled with hate and anger towards one another, despite being in the afterlife. Lincoln and Booth saw an opportunity to share their story and spread their message of love and forgiveness. They approached the group and told them of their own journey, of how they were once mortal enemies, but were able to put aside their differences and find peace. The group was initially skeptical, but as they heard the story of Lincoln and Booth's friendship, they began to soften and eventually found common ground. The group hugged each other and tears flowed freely, as they realized the power of forgiveness and the importance of moving forward together. Lincoln and Booth stood back, smiling at the sight of so much love and happiness. From that day forward, the group was known as the Friends of Ford's Theater, and would meet regularly to share their stories and support one another. They became a shining example of what can be achieved when love and understanding are placed above hate and anger. As time passed, Lincoln and Booth were remembered as two of the greatest examples of love and forgiveness in all of heaven. They were hailed as heroes, and their story became a legend, passed down from generation to generation, reminding everyone of the power of redemption and the importance of moving forward with grace and understanding.